The UFC's back this weekend with a middleweight banger between Jared Cannonier and Kelvin Gastelum. Now, both of these guys have been to the top of the division. Gastelum fought Israel Adesanya in what is an instant classic. The day we left Atlanta, we left the arena, we knew that this one was going to stand the test of time. Cannonier just got his chance in the #1 contenders fight against Rob Whittaker. Both are coming off losses. Yeah. The stakes are massive. How excited are you to see these two top middleweights compete inside the UFC Apex?
Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you, DC, I'm fired up because this is a fight with two men who saw themselves at the top of the sport with an opportunity to get belts, and now they're fighting to prove that they deserve that opportunity again. You mentioned the Gastelum-Israel Adesanya fight. That was an absolute war, and going into the 5th round, Israel Adesanya is talking to himself, bro. He's talking to himself saying, you know what? I'm ready to die for this. Like, you can't beat me because I will. Think about that mindset, and not the mindset of saying it. I don't want you to think about the mindset of saying it. Think about being Kelvin Gastelum, who has now watched Israel Adesanya go on to beat Romero and Costa and really show that at his weight class, there is no one for him. Think about the fact that he stood across from Israel Adesanya while he was on his rise and gave him the toughest fight other than Jan beating him when Israel moved up to 205. And now if you're Jared Cannonier, you're thinking to yourself, I just lose to Robert Whittaker. I had an opportunity in the #1 contenders fight to show that this is where I go, that this is the next step for me. And you're getting a guy who knows how to bang. You're getting a guy who gives you an opportunity to show that you're back, to show that you're recovered from injury. And this is a fight that both of these men need to win. I think if you're Gastelum, you need to win this fight just to show that you belong in the top tier of your weight class. But if you're Jared Cannonier, you can win this fight and show that, you know what, maybe I get one more fight and I'm next up for a title, especially when you have a champion that's running through people the way that the champ is.
And you know what? For Cannonier, and I'll be calling this fight on Saturday, so I got to be very careful with my analysis. But for Cannonier, it's very important for him to win in the sense that he can put himself right back in title contention because Adesanya called him Soul Brother Jared, right? He was looking forward to fighting Jared. If Jared Cannonier can do something so impressive, it may immediately just put him right back on the champion's radar because the champ has not been so gung-ho about fighting Robert Whittaker for a second time. Here's what also plays into this fight. Gastelum needs to show that he still can compete, that he's still relevant at the top of the division. But not only are these two fighting, next week Derek Brunson is fighting against Darren Till. So it's like you have a bit of a middleweight logjam between 4 very high-level competitors fighting very recent when the champion and Robert Whittaker are both kind of waiting for their rematch. Massive stakes in this fight this weekend. Big stakes for Gastelum because he has to show that he still belongs. But also for Jared Cannonier, man, it really does shorten the path to a championship fight against Israel Adesanya.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.